Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I choose between my various different thumbnails, which ones are the best. I'll be showing you, like I said, the whole entire process. So here I have a few different thumbnail variations for a thumbnail that I'm creating for my next video on this small YouTube channel. And this is an example of one of them. Okay, this is, let me move this down so it doesn't get in the way, but this is one of the video thumbnails. Then we have this one, and I'll zoom in for you so you can go ahead and see the whole thing here. Okay, this was one of them. This was one of them. Okay, and this was one of them. So I have three different ones here. I also have this one, and this one is a slight variation. So you can kind of tell the difference right now between these two is that one has a blurry background, one has a visual background. And a lot of the times there's no rules to this. It's not like somebody's going to come out and tell you always use a blurry background or always use a sharp background. Nobody's going to come out with that kind of information. You're going to have to analyze this for yourself. So I have these different variations. So step one is have different variations of your thumbnails. So this one has a black background, pretty much the same thing. And then this one is entirely different. Okay. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to download all of them. Now, this is what I'm doing. So you could do this as what you want. But when I have thumbnails, I'm thinking of my logical process. This is step two. Think of your logical process behind how they're going to be seen. I create SEO-based videos, not engagement type. Eventually, I go for the hybrid. Now, if I'm speaking this and it sounds like a different language to you, you probably have to go see my last video. There are three different kinds of videos. There are hybrids, there are SEO based, and then there are engagement based. My videos are all primarily SEO based. So initially, these videos will never show up on somebody's home feed or their recommended until it actually garners some views and some attention, and then YouTube starts to deploy them because the logic behind this plays a big role. So right now what I'm doing is I'm thinking, okay, I have views on these videos that will eventually deploy, and I'm about to talk about step three, that will eventually deploy to the home feed and to the recommended. How can I make sure I stand out? Well, that's where this comes in. So now I'm going to be logging into YouTube Studio Pro, and I'm going to be using the thumbnail preview tool. So here are a bunch of different thumbnails for different videos. I want to see how my thumbnails are going to stand out. So I'm going to go over here to upload, and I'm going to click choose file, and I'm going to choose the actual file of my video. So I have a whole bunch of different ones here. Let's go ahead and pick this one first. All right. And what I'll do is I'll move this one around. So this is my video, right? And we'll go over here to grid preview, and I can just drag this and just move it, right? Just move it upwards, for example, and there it is. Or right here, for example, there it is, right? I can move this here, you know, something like that. And I can see how my thumbnail looks amongst the competition. And what I'll do actually is I'll decrease the amount of videos here, and I'll get a view as to how it looks. So on the big screen, it will look something like this, right? On the smaller screen, it will look something like this, okay? Which is good, okay? So I'm going to take a screenshot now as to how it looks. So let's just go over here. Let's take this. Let's take a screenshot. Let's drag it just like that. Take a screenshot. Boom, okay? Now, this is a screenshot of that thumbnail. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my uploaded thumbnails, and I'm going to delete this. I'm going to hit choose file, and I'm going to select another thumbnail that I created. So I'll have it right here. And then I'll just move it. You know, the same exact way, I'll just move it. And what I'm doing is I'm really trying to stand outside of the picture, if that makes sense. A lot of people say, you know, when you're busy in the picture, you can't see what's going on the picture because you're in it. So I'm standing outside of the picture by taking these screenshots and seeing its effect over time. And I'm going to compare how each thumbnail looks with each other. So just take a screenshot like this, okay? And now I'm playing the preview game. So I have two screenshots of two thumbnails, and I'm just giving you a sample right now. All right, so let's just wait for that thumbnail to be opened up. We have this one, okay? And then we have this one. Let me open this one up as well, all right? And we're going to compare the two outputs and see which one stands out. Now, mind you, why did we talk about how I garner my views? Why does that even matter to thumbnails? Well, it matters because I'm going to have to compare what is more realistic for people to click on when they eventually reach the home feed, aka which one stands out more. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually make this a little bit smaller here. Okay, if I can do that. Let's kind of minimize this just a little bit. We want them to be about the same size. Okay, and we're going to compare. Let's see here. Let's compare. Okay, I'll drag this here. I'll drag this there and make this just a little bit smaller. Okay, so now you guys can see pretty much both sets of thumbnails. All right, and the question is, which one looks better? Does this video look better or does this video look better in terms of standing out? Well, immediately when I see this, I think maybe I might want to use a black background on this one. Okay, a black background here, but I also might want to change the font color here and match it with the same font here, because I noticed that this yellow font stands out. There's a few videos with yellow here, like this video, and maybe a little bit here in this video. This yellow stands out to me, and therefore I want to use it in here. So I'll do that. So, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's go to YouTube thumbnails. Let's go to my created thumbnails, okay? And I'm using a tool called Canva, by the way. So if you want to use it, I'll leave a link in the description. You can go ahead and use it. But I'll just go over here, okay? I'll copy this, and I'll edit the text here. So instead of Next Level Pro, I'll just type in 500, okay? And maybe even change the font. So I'll look for a font that is a little bit more fitting for something like this, right? So that's 500. That looks good to me. I'll hit Update Element. I'll take the 500, kind of minimize it slightly. I'll also go to this background section here, make it black. And for those who are curious, yes, I do make my own thumbnails. And the reason why is because I do not want to be one of these people that are at the beck and call of editors. I want to be in a situation where I have full control over my destiny. Okay, and so I'm going to write 500 here. I'm going to paste this, and I'll edit this again, and I'll type in videos, just like that. And I'll hit enter, or update rather. And there we go. We have 500 videos here. Let's see what looks slightly better. Now, because the text is a little bit like thicker than the past video's text, I might want to enlarge this slightly, just like this, and then push it to the back, so behind this layer of the character. And so I'll just kind of put it right there, all right? And move this that way, move this upwards, and there we go. So now we have 500 videos. Now this is an entirely different thumbnail than what it once was. Let's go ahead and download it, okay? So I'll go here, download. Let's go to page 10. Let's go to page 10. Let's hit done, hit download, and let's see how it comes out. Okay, and let's compare it to, once again, its original formation. So I'm not necessarily looking for a highly edited thumbnail. That's not my goal. My goal is to make it stand out on the home feed. This is if I get to the point where my video gets enough attention from YouTube to where it can be seen, right, on the home feed. Now, once again, my videos are SEO based. They are not engagement based, which is critically different, and the whole concept is different. So here, I'm looking at the board. Let me go ahead and close the board, okay? And let me look at the original version of that thumbnail. So in terms of how the text looks, I truly like, in my opinion, the way that this thumbnail looks, but it just won't stand out as much. I've seen that yellow text, in my case, stands out a little bit more, especially, right, in this circumstance. Now, let's think of my YouTube concept. What kind of videos do I make on this channel? They're YouTube-based videos teaching people how to make YouTube videos. In fact, this video was probably posted last, and it was I analyzed 500 YouTube videos, and I wanted to see the output of it. I wanted to study them, right? Essentially, I learned this idea from Tai Lopez. He always said, be a mad scientist. Always study, study, study. So I have a tool that allows me to study 500 plus videos at once, and you guys can access the same tool. But that's not the point. The point is, I'm going to look at this video, and I'm going to say, okay, yes, this video might look cleaner because it's all succinct. You got the red border, you got the red text, but this one might stand out a little bit more. Well, how can we make this stand out a little more? potentially we can use a black background, maybe or white background, maybe not black. So let's try that, right? And we already have the version of the black background already downloaded. So if I go here to white, I mean, it does look different, but it's not, I'm not feeling it, right? I'm not feeling it. Could it stand out? Maybe, but it just looks bare, you know? So maybe the white text is fine with the yellow text is fine with something like this. Now, the reason partially why this looks a little weird is because the background is the background, is black and the text is black. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to have it a little more include a little more contrast, right? So for example, here I'll hit update. I added a border, a white border to the text. Now, it kind of washes out the text. It's not as it doesn't have as much contrast. So I'm going to look into this and I'm going to figure out, okay, what can I do to add more contrast to my text color? So the 500 here, I might want to make it a little bit brighter, right? Like a little bit brighter of a yellow. Hit update element. Let's see. Okay, so that's even worse. So that means it needs to be darker. So I'll go over here and hit update. And then here I have the videos text. I might do the exact same thing. So let me get rid of the current text and just copy it so it's the same style. And then just write videos, just like that. And hit update. Okay. And if you guys like this so far, I'll leave a link in the description to my mini course teaching you how to create thumbnails the same way I create them. All right. But you can see here 500 videos. Let's go ahead and push this backwards behind the character. All right. And pretty good overall, I think. But what I want to do here is I'm going to also thin out the outline. It's a little bit too fat for me, right? You can kind of see how it looks. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit texture, outline thickness, and I'm just going to decrease it ever so slightly. Nothing too crazy, but that can make a difference into the contrast. Because if it's all this one big white blob, it's hard to see, right? And trust me, you're not going to get better overnight. Well, actually, that's not the case. You could get better overnight on this, but this is something that you need years of like practice for. I'll just be honest, because if you have the same mindset as me, which is like, I'm not going to hire anybody to do this, I'm going to learn how to do it myself, then you're going to have to just go through it and just study it. Like, there's no other way to do it. So, like, if I go on my normal feed right now, let's go on YouTube, and let's type in, like, make money online, or let's type in, make money online. Why not? Make money online. All right? You're going to see stuff with, like, yellow text. There you go. First video has yellow text. Why? It's not like this written rule that says yellow is better. It's because it's contrast. It stands out, right? Like, this has contrast. The background is dark, but the text is white/gray. Here you have green text that stands out from a black background, right? Here you have yellow text again. So it's not about necessarily the color of the text. It's about, does it stand out? And is it large enough to be visible on mobile? Because remember, if I zoom out like this is how it's going to look on mobile. People are not going to be able to exactly see what thumbnails are going on behind the scenes. Like, they're not going to be able to see Alex Hormozi's face. But if I zoom out, they're going to be able to see a silhouette of it, right? Which is what they're going to see on mobile. So I'm going to download this version as well. So I'm going to go to page 10. I'm going to go to page 10 here. Let me go ahead and zoom up here. Or, go ahead and zoom in. Let's go to page 10. Let's click done here, and now let's kind of compare, okay? And if I want to see all these different thumbnails side by side in comparison, we can do that. So I'll go over here, right? I already have this thumbnail uploaded. I'm going to go to upload thumbnails. I'm going to click choose a file, and I'm going to start adding now all the different thumbnails I have. So we have these two added, or one of them rather. Let's add this one. Okay, so these are two different thumbnails. So immediately comparing these two, what can you tell? Clearly, the one on the left is better than the one on the right. It's just a fact. Okay, so I don't even need to compare it to that, but I'll leave it up there for now. Okay, let's find another one here. Let's go to downloads. Let's select this one, I believe. Okay, and now let's start comparing them from a drag and drop perspective. So I have this one here. I'm just going to move this downward, okay, because I do want to see how it will look in this circumstance. Let's move it here. Okay, so we have all 4 videos here. Now I could move them just like one shot upwards. All right, and just see how it looks here. You know, as better. You know, a little bit better. But let's take a look at this. Let's zoom in. Okay, and you can see now. So I like personally. Man, it's hard to tell because there's a lot going on here. Let's compare these two first, or these two rather. So here it says Next Level Pro. I like the text, I like the colors, but it might be a little bit too much going on to understand exactly what's the video is on, if that makes sense. For this, right? Now we're ignoring the titles, by the way, because the title, all of these video titles are labeled the same thing. But for this video, you could clearly tell it's 500 videos. But now when I take this and I move it here, let's say, for example, and I move this one downward, or excuse me, this one upward, and then this one next to it, right? Which one looks better, the one on the left or the one on the right? Well, this one has more contrast, so it's more appealing, let's say. Okay, let's go ahead and let's move this to 4 columns. And yeah, this one looks better even zoomed out, right? Which is important from a mobile standpoint. So this one is out of the game. All right, so let's delete that one. Then let's look at these two. Okay, let's move this here. And let's just purely look at these 2 thumbnails. We have a dark background and a white background. Well, what's more contrasting? For me, it's this, because I have yellow that stands out and I have a black background. And all my thumbnails have hues of lighter colors than black. So it's more contrasting than this. So I'm going to delete this one. So now it becomes a battle of 2. This one and this one. Which one looks better? Well, let's kind of play around with it. Let's place them in different areas, right? Different thumbnails in different areas, and let's just see how they look. So let's move this one here, for example. Let's take a look. So if I was just scrolling through, and this is the important part, is, okay, what's going to perform better long term? Now, yes, you could do an A/B test by uploading both to a software and seeing, maybe even YouTube allows A/B tests. I can't remember, but looking at the 2, right, I think this one would be better, especially with the title. I'll title it, I studied 500 YouTube videos, like ... right? Which one is going to look better? This one could mean anything. Like, I don't know what this means. It could be a video game. It could be, like, what does Next Level Pro actually mean? If my audience has a relationship with me and they understand the type of content that I upload, this might resonate well with them. But remember, my goal is not to resonate well with my old audience. It's to develop new subscribers. It's to develop new intention. So something like this is more suitable, even though it might not look as nice, for my new fan base, the people who don't know me, who want to learn what I'm talking about. And we have this big number 500 here. So people might look at this, right, and be like, what is 500? Right? Because there is no other thumbnail here that has like pretty much larger text other than this, but even this is larger. So this is what I would go with. Okay, so I have that thumbnail saved, which is right here, and that's what I'm going with. Right? This is going to be my next thumbnail for my video. So, or for my past video that you're about to see, or maybe you've already saw it at this point. But the point is that, remember, it has to work mentally with your flow. What is your flow? Are you an engaging type of content uploader, or are you an SEO-based uploader? Eventually, our goal is to get to the hybrid stage, right? Where you start off, this is for me personally, not for you. I don't know what you like to do, but for me, I like to start off SEO. I like to get attention through SEO. And then YouTube looks at my markers, looks at my analytics, and says, you know what? This content is really good. Let's build a new audience for this person with it. So it starts pushing it out. Next thing you know, I'm not only ranking on SEO-based terms and getting attention there, but I'm also getting attention through people's home feed, through their news feed, home feed, through their recommended, right? And next thing you know, from there, the video is getting recommended. And so I have to keep that in mind. I have to keep both stages in mind when it comes down to success of my YouTube video. And there's so many markers to success with YouTube. There's so many things, from this actual video, you can look at that video that I made, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want to watch it. There's so many different moving parts to having a viral video or a successful video. And the whole point here is that I have to say to myself, okay, if I want to be successful, I need to be able to study every single aspect of this. And really, guys, I'm just communicating for myself here because my YouTube career isn't over. I'm going to create many, many more videos, not only on this channel, but I have 15 other channels that I'm going to be working on. So it's all about learning 24/7, 365. Become a learning machine. Become a mad scientist like Tai Lopez says, all right? But hopefully this video was informative to you. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Bye.